everyone. Welcome to Employee Experience Academy. I am Samantha Kenny, the host of today's episode, and I am joined by Richard Gregory, a leader in the Modern Workplace Division at Avanade. Thank you so much for joining me, Richard. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Samantha, for having me. It's great to be here with our partners Akumina on such an important topic that is employee experience.
It is. So, we've had a lot of conversations recently about employee experience in general, how important it is. But I really would like to talk to you about some of the things you're seeing in terms of why is investing in employee technology such an important strategy as we enter into what it means for starting the new methods of work?
Yeah, that's a great question, Samantha. I think for me, there's probably three key elements to that. I think first off, over the last 18 months, what I think we've realized more and more is that everybody is an individual. More so than probably ever in our lifetimes. What has really impacted one person has maybe impacted somebody else completely and utterly differently. What my needs are this week is probably going to change next week. When I might need to come into the office this week might be very different from my schedule next week. And so, first off, I think we've realized that everybody's individuals, yet we haven't necessarily adapted yet the digital workplace to that same logic of hyper personalization. What I need is very different from you, is very different from everybody else. And until organizations are really able to hyper personalize the workplace to what it means to me, my job, my role, my well being, what motivates me, there's always going to be this disconnect. And even though over the last few years we've talked about personas and we've talked about populations, I think true technology in the employee experience space is able to take it to that next level of detail and make me have an experience that is completely and utterly different to everybody else. And that's ultimately going to be absolutely critical as we kind of face this next stage of the future of work. I think the second element for me, Samantha, is around at the heart of it, more technology isn't going to solve the issues. I was reading a report from Okta the other week that says the average organization has over 200 different applications.
Mm.
The average employee is being expected to deal with 68 different applications. And yet, us as human beings, whilst we might love to think that we can multitask, research from MIT shows that kind of any more than four different applications or experiences, and our productivity drops off a cliff. And so for me, this isn't necessarily about adding more technology. It's about simplifying the technology and the experiences that we've already got. I saw some research separately that said the average human being is now, or the average employee is now jumping in and out of about 1,100 different Internet Explorer browsers in a day, dealing with different technology. What I love about Akumina and where I think employee experience tech is going is how do you simplify the employee experience so we don't have to jump between different technologies and I can do the majority of my tasks all in one place, all in one experience without me having to jump into those different systems of records. That for me is truly transformative in terms of thinking about the new world of work. And then finally, I think we've started to think about over the last 18 months to 2 years transformation of the digital workplace. And now we're starting to think about what does that mean from a physical workplace perspective. But really the magic is going to happen when we start to combine the digital workplace with the physical workplace with the virtual workplace to truly mash all of those experiences together and make them seamless. I think about things like the moment that matters for me when I go back to the office is going to be how do I get a security card to enter the office when I don't know where that security card is? How am I going to be able to book that space to get work done? Um, uh, uh, when I don't know, we're going to be having to book out every single meeting room or every single desk. There's going to be huge new moments that matters for people in a physical workplace setting that ultimately need to be enabled by the digital workplace. You only have to look at something, for example, that a lot of organizations are touching on at the moment around the lack of innovation that's been going on within organization, and the fact that we've not got those water cooler moments, those serendipity moments in the workplace. And fast forward 6 months to the physical workplace where we're maybe only in the office 2 or 3 days a week, to realize that actually creating those artificial serendipity moments is going to become one of those digital workplace moments that matters, but actually needs to be delivered in a physical environment. So for me, there's so many different examples like that, Samantha, that really now is the moment of employee experience tech. And for those organizations that haven't started to invest in it, that haven't started to think through some of these examples and what they're going to change and how they're going to do work differently, are going to see them really impacted when it comes to the productivity, when it comes to attrition, when it comes to this new mass resignation wave that we're all expecting. And ultimately, starting to think about how do you drive and how do you reimagine how your business is going to operate over the next 5, 10, 15 years.
Richard, it is always so interesting to chat with you. I think we could probably have this conversation all day long, and you're
We
so
could.
knowledgeable on the subject, and it's always so nice to hear your stats as you bring them up. The new one for me that I hadn't heard before was 1,100 different browsers in a day, browser windows in a day. That's one that I had not heard. So thank you for
Here's
educating
another
us.
one, Samantha, that I read the other day. We as average employees copy 178 pieces of information across different systems throughout a day to get our work done. Doesn't that just tell you how complex we've made the digital workplace, and how actually our challenge is just to simplify it all?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Like I said, a wealth of knowledge and information. It's so great to talk to you. And again, thank you so much for joining me today on the Employee Experience Academy. I really appreciate you being here. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Samantha. Let's go change the world.